All right, folks, welcome into Flying with Mike. This is a special edition that we're going to be flying out of Kathmandu to Paro, rated one of the world's most dangerous approaches. And when you see the charting, you'll get the feel for it, folks. It is a tough flight. It is very difficult to fly. You've got to be very precise. Speeds, everything. So, just wanted to get this prelude out that we're getting ready to put forth into the most dangerous airport in the world. Behind us, in that very far background, let me kind of see if I can't gently zoom in here. Um, those are the Himalayas, folks. Surrounding Paro are 20 plus thousand foot mountains, and you kind of wiggle your way through a river valley to get into it. So, with that in mind, I've learned a few things. We did this a few days ago on our live stream Flying with Mike. The YouTube video is up from that. Well, we're doing a special repeat encore performance, mainly to try to save some face on it, folks. It's a tough approach. If you're into that, you want challenges, and you want to do it realistically, that would be one of those out there, folks, for you to try. So without further ado, let's get into Flying with Mike, headed to the most dangerous airport in the world. All right, we're up in the cockpit here, folks. Prior to this, let's do a good pre-brief here. So I'm bringing Sim Toolkit up. Bear with me. There it goes. All right, so you can kind of see this big wall here of white with brown behind it. That's the Himalayas, folks. Mount Everest is in the neighborhood. So that is the tallest peak in the world for those who may be unfamiliar. It's a short 40-minute flight. You can see it right here. It's a KIMTI B345 to TUMLI to SUBSU to TAKTI, and here is where we kind of really started. Then we head to a fix called PR 777. From there, we are on the RNAV to runway 15. It'll be the RNAV Zulu 15/33. All right, so let's take a look at this. Now we've seen this portion of it. Let's get a quick weather rundown if we can. Currently, as you can tell, sunny day, 50 degrees, and winds are 103. We're going to be taking off on runway 2. So we got a back taxi, and then we'll go. Didn't mean to yawn in your ears. Paro, VQPR, Victor, Quebec, Papa, Romeo. Now this is probably some old weather, but currently 160 at 20 knots. Temperature 57 degrees, 26 degrees for the dew point. So really the weather pressure-wise are about the same, and we're showing, for the most part, clear skies both ends, as we can see here. All right, so the weather looks good. It's not frightful outside. The load sheet for today, 137 peeps have signed along to Fly with Mike. No cargo. We're going to run with a 0 fuel weight. You can see on the second line, 120 or 120,000 pounds of 0 fuel weight. We're going to throw into the tanks 13,000, roughly 400 pounds of fuel. The reason being, we'll explain it while the plane is just now finishing filling. And then looking at a cost index of 30, and we're going to cruise at the blistering height of just a few feet under the tip of Mount Everest, 27,000 feet. So we're not going to be near Mount Everest, but it's not probably unusual that we would be able to see it, if that guy behind the stick would know where Mount Everest actually is back in the range. All right, couple of things about this flight, folks. It is gonna, once we get done with the pre-brief, we get going, there'll be very limited talk, so don't think there's something up with your microphone or your speakers. I plan to do a lot of this quietly so that you all can just see it. We'll brief the arrival just like in a real aircraft, and then shoot the approach. If you've watched videos on this thing, folks, most of them go into runway 33. And pardon me for yawning in your ears. That I totally apologize. I have yet to run into a video where they shoot this particular approach. So it is very tricky. I'll point out the tricks to it. And hopefully some advice I've been given since my last attempt a few days ago will pay off on this run. All right, real quick, I want to bring SimBrief in here. Free utility to look it over. We've only got 270 miles to cover, 40 minutes of airtime. So folks, that's why there's probably not going to be a lot of chit chat, and I do apologize. But then again, this is strictly a YouTube video. This is not being broadcast where we usually do, which is on Twitch as a live stream. What I wanted to show you from the easy vantage point is the flight itself. Let me unload the old one. Oh, that is today's. My bad. Just happened to look at the date. Okay, so here's what it looks like, folks, on an en route chart. Let me back out a little. So you can see it's just very short. But look at these minimum safe altitudes, 30,000, 25, 24. Folks, this is some serious terrain you fly through. So, and you're in the canyons, like I said, working the river valleys. So get ready. This will be fun. So with all of that said, let's bring up our first part, the departure. Okay, we're going to be, like I said, well, let's do it from the actual gate so we can see the taxi. Runway 2 is down here. So we're going to face south, taxi Fox to Echo, and then back taxi the runway for takeoff. That's pretty simple stuff there. Departure, also pretty simple. We'll just let the autopilot do a lot of it, but it'll be there for us, you know, if we wanted to hand fly it. So that's very simple. Come down here, we're going KT 414 to 802 to 804 to 806. No faster than 220 knots here, folks. Then we can start picking it up at 820, 822 to Igris. Okay, over here, our transition level is 13,500. Airport itself is just under 4,400 feet MSL. We're going to Paro, which is just under 7,400, or high altitude flying, folks. And if you haven't caught it here in the corner, our MSA, minimum safe altitudes within 50 miles, this will be at 28,400 feet. Inside that circle is 1,100 or 11,800. So that's why the 220 requirement, so that we can get a better climb out of the plane, get above the higher terrain. But there it is, folks, 414 to 802 to 804. 806 is where we have to cross no faster than 220. From then on, we can begin our acceleration. Okay, on out to Igris. Then we're going to fly 940, 942, 944, 946 out to KIMTI. And then we join the Bravo 345. So overall, no altitude restrictions that I can see in any of the instructions that are given. So the biggest restriction is the 806 being under 220. Okay, so pretty simple, straightforward attack on this. Again, 240-mile flight, 40 minutes of fly time, and 27,000 feet. All right, so let's get rid of Sim Toolkit and let's get into the checklist getting this plane going. Here's where I am going to back off and just let you watch. Questions, comments, anything about checklists and all, let me know. I run the ToLiss checklist, concise checklist version 2. So use however you want to use to fire this plane up. So with that, let's get to firing up the plane. All right, real quick here, folks, we're back with you. We've gone through our preliminary and begun our pre-flight procedures. We're at the weight and balance. So we've got 137 people, but our cargo is probably going to make us heavy. And we should be at 120, and I think I saw 124. So yeah, so what we'll do is come back over here, neat feature, come to mechanical, click it a couple times, and then we're just going to zero out. Load. Okay, we're still there, so let's reset to current. Now we're looking a little better. We should be 120, 088, and we're 196, folks. To me, that's fine. So we're good to fly. CG is in the middle, and we're going to continue here with setting up the McDo now. Okay, real quick, because I know they're going to be. This is where a lot of questions come to me. First off, let me just push that right there. Get that one pushed right there, even though I don't use it much. I do use it, believe it or not, in flight. Okay, so our databases are good. Go to init. Now, if you're using SimBrief, folks, you can do this. If you're not, you'll have to go the long way. And that's the init request either here or through the data. Okay, everything's loaded. All right, now what do I mean? Okay, so now it's asking for the alignment. Hang on a second. I'm pulling a chart up here. There we go. For our parking coordinates. Let me bring in charts. Okay, another program that's part of the NavGraph suite now. NavGraph is what updates your FMC. This is a chart database, folks. If you fly abroad, I can't recommend this enough. It is a lifesaver. However, you could look and try to do it free. I'm not going to hold that back against anyone. It's very difficult. I know. I did it for a long time till I finally broke down, paid the few extra dollars a month, and folks, I have the world. I can get every chart I need wherever I fly. So you can find them on most, not all, most of your VATSIM, IVAO sites, but it's frustrating when you can't. Okay, so we're in spot 4. Spot 4's coordinates are right here. So it's 2741.9. Okay, so we're 2741 point. So let's push it up. And over on the latitude, we're 085, 21.5 east. That is actually good, so we'll align on that coordinate. Okay, then we have our flight alternate is back to Kathmandu today. Yesterday, or the flight several days ago, I'm sorry, was to Bangladesh. Okay, flight number, our Latlon. Cost index, you could roll it back if you want. I'm going to leave it. 27,000. The temp and tropo, I haven't tried with a different operated flight plan out of SimBrief. I might, just to see how close. Now, winds. Click on winds. You can do these a couple of different ways. Wind request. That gives you all your winds, folks. Each phase of flight, there's cruise, there's descent. We'll do this again when we start our descent. Okay, so the init page 1 is set. I'm going to keep this chart up now. If you bear with me, I'm going to X out and I'm going to zoom in because we're about to begin checking our flight plan. This is what that neat init request does. First, let's go to plan, bring it down to say 20 for now. Let's go to our next step. We've done the init, so let's go to flight plan. And there is an acronym out there, folks. I can't remember it. That works really good here to make sure you hit everything. I'm just going right off the checklist. Again, ToLiss A319 Concise Checklist version 2. All right, so let's go to F plan. Your flight plan is loaded. See that? Click your departure point. Departure. We're going off runway 2. All right. Now, we again are flying. Oh, wait. I'm not on the chart. Sorry, folks. Let's pull up that chart. The IGRIS 1 Delta. When you look over here, IGRIS 1 Delta will show up as IGRA 1D. Arrows. IGRA 1D. We actually have transitions. KIMTI. And then, as you verified across, runway 2 is what we're leaving. We're going to use this SID to this transition. All looks good. Click it. All right. And then we begin watching. Let's just use the chart. All right. So 414, 802. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and dial it down one more so we can better see. Okay, then 804, 806, there is showing a speed restriction to 20. Over on your nav display, we're watching for any kind of weirdness where you may skew out a lot. I can tell we're pretty decent. Our distance looks good, but it's not to say you hit this fix over here instead of this one. Okay, I don't even know if there's one there, but you get the example. All right, so we are to 804. 806 is our restriction, then 820. Again, just click the up. 820, we're now centered on 822. Now IGRIS. Okay, I'm going to pull the chart and widen out. So we're going to go 940, 942, 944, 946. See them all there. Out to get me. All right, and then off we go on our run. Okay, so we take the B345, which it's not showing here, but it is that one. The TUMLI. Okay, then we're going to SUBSU. Does that look right? Yep. And then over to TAKTI. And then we would go to Pro. We're not. We're going to actually be doing a little different. We'll actually get rid of Pro. All right, so there's our arrival. Click on it. Arrival. Okay, here's where the fun begins, and where you can use this utility right here to its max. First off, 7 hours, 19 minutes ago was this METAR. That really doesn't help us right now, does it, folks? Okay, so, but we'll take it and use it the best we can. Ceiling is at least 12,000 feet, which is fine. 10,300, I believe, is what we got to start worrying about. 14 degrees. And again, it's saying at least. So we're not going to get too nervous. If not, we'll go clear. Okay, but 160 means we're going to come in on the 15s. All right, now where this comes in handy, we have approaches. Select. And here are those to 15. Really just the Zulu. Now, technically, I have seen it flown to runway 15 off of coming in where you line up for runway 33, circle to land. And folks, this is not a quote circle to land you're used to. It's go around the mountain, drop on the other side, and land. Okay, most circle to lands, you know, you just get in the pattern, go out on a 45-degree, make your bay or downwind, and turn in. Not this one, folks. So, and that's what I thought maybe doing this approach you had to do. It's not. We'll get into it here in a second. So the Zulu is what we want. 1-5 Zulu. All of that to say that. Okay, now there are stars, folks, but I'm not going to fly it. Although, let me see. Hang on. I already know it's this one. Okay, and then I need to get up here, make that amendment. There we go. So that way it flies TAKTI to PR 777, and then there's the routing, folks. Now this gives it no justice. You're like, well, why are we kind of zigzaggy and around and all of that fun stuff? Bear with me. All right, let's take a look at those approaches. You can do that too, folks. Select. Okay, here's Tashi, not Tackett. Tashi is over here. Now we could have come off of SUBSU and entered this very easily. Yeah, we could have. I'm going to do it this way just to get us so we can get in that groove that we need to be in. Folks, you gotta follow the altitude speeds all the way through this thing or you're going to mess up. All right. And as you can tell, the GPS has aligned. No longer showing, so I'm just going to real quick get the other one. Okay. So we're not going to worry about that. So let's down, no star, transition PR 777, insert. Now I want PR to be our first, so I'm just going to clear Pro, clear the discontinuity, insert. Okay, so we know there's TAKTI. So PR is where we're lined up right now, 777. Let's take a, it didn't do it again. Hang on a second, folks. All right, hang on. It did this last time. Usually it will add it to your charts. 15 pinned in. There we go. All right, so let's look at it real quick. Not the airport, although that's where we're going. It's a 2-page chart. Missed approach over here. Get to that in a minute. Our approach here, PR 777, 16,000 feet, folks. That is where you're supposed to be. It says mandatory. Folks, there is no wiggle room. If you're off, it's going to get you off. So get in there. Get it down to 16. Worst case scenario, there's a hold. Use it. I didn't. It screwed me up the last time I did this. Also, maximum speed of 185 knots. Folks, you're going to begin configuring this airplane early. So be ready to do that too. 848, let's just keep walking it through. There's 848, 830, 828 is right here, folks. So you go from 830, 828, 826. Very short, then 728. All looking good. Okay, to 730. Okay, so to this point, there are no other restrictions until 799. 13,800 from here to here. Okay, so from 799, 818 to 816, you can still be above 13.8, but you gotta make it here, folks. There's 816. Okay, this is your initial approach fix for runway 15. 13,800 at no faster than 145. I've been told by some people being at app may even be better because you've only got 9 miles. Now, he did the arithmetic for me. I didn't even begin to understand. I don't understand how to do it. It's way too long for this 58-year-old. Me and math don't get along anymore. But it's 814, 812, 810, 808. That gets us in. Okay. You have 9 miles to go from 13,800 to 7364. All parking depth, folks, is 6,000 feet to drop, 9 miles. Now he's telling me 1,500 feet per minute at VAP should get you right in that groove. There's a little trick at the end of it that you don't see on the chart. And I'll point it out here. You see how this nicely parallels the runway. What? Paralleling the runway. No, we're going to come around. So you're going to take this turn. You may want to extend it slightly so that you can come back, get in and get a good at least quarter mile lineup on it to touchdown. That's my goal today. Actually, my goal is to just touch down on the runway, but I want to try to be more professional in the look of it. So there you have it, folks. Now, if you do your little 800 foot a minute descent, and this part throws you off big time. If you come down at 800 feet a minute, I guarantee you're going to be at about 12,000 to 10,000 feet right there. Well above Paro. Trust me, I did it. We had to do a go around. But we're going to try this idea of 1,500 feet or more, keeping it at 130 in that descent. We may have to pop spoilers, whatever it takes. I'm going to keep it slow so we're not crushing the distance because the aircraft is speeding up. So, and again, you should be fully configured right here, folks. Flaps 4 at a maximum here, but I wouldn't be far off to say here. Be fully configured, gear down, flaps full, and then start on that coming down. All right, so there you have it, folks. Now let's continue on, because this part didn't work out so well for us. The missed approach. It did not pick up on it, did not fly it. So I don't know what I did wrong. Hopefully we don't have to do it again. But the good thing is if we're really high, then we're really above a lot of the terrain. But you fly out, do a circle, come back, choose an approach to come in on. And then from there, is our, if we just say we can't do it, weather's just not acceptable, here's our way home. And we're coming, like I said, our alternate today is Kathmandu. All right, So we have the flight plan loaded. I'm not going to get this loaded. We can do most of this in the plane in the return. So I'm not going to worry about it. So back to ARC, go up to 20, and now let's get rid of charts. And I spent just a little too much there, folks, but I think you get why. All right, next up is the RadNav page. Looks good, all frequencies set. Then we're going to go to the init page, but we're going to click the arrow to get us to the next page, and we're going to verify our numbers. 121 or 120.9. Hang on a second. We are looking for 121. That's good. And 28.6 for our zero fuel weight. That looks good. 13.3 looks good. Also on fuel. Numbers look good. Then the perf page. All right. Great tool right here, folks. Go here. Then you can pull up from charts, if you want, the weather. Oh, my bad. There we go. Okay, currently, winds 120. They are definitely not that. I wonder where this is 2 minutes ago that I have. Let me pull that up so you can get a read on. Well, I'll do it this way. All right, look at the bottom right. Here's the Kathmandu METAR as of 2 minutes ago, folks. Winds 120 and 3. Visibility 7,000 meters. Few clouds at 1,500 feet. Ceiling at least 12,000 or higher. And remember, we're at a 4,400 foot rut. Plenty on the ceiling. It's a balmy 45 degrees here. And the altimeter 1022. We got to pretty much change all of this. And I am going to get rid of charts so that we can do that. All right. So let's start with the wind. That's the first thing we come to. We're looking at 120 at 3. I'm really still staying on runway 2. I'm not worried about it, folks. Our outside air temperature is 7 degrees. Wait a minute. Is it 7 or 9? Hang on. 9 degrees. Altimeter. Let me just try it. Try it every time, and one of these days it'll work. 10, 22. 30, 22. Nope. Let's go 18. All right. Since it's a clear day, I'm going to keep anti-ice off, but we are going to run with the air conditioning system on. Now, the cool thing about this EFB in the plane, I can test some things to see how good the performance is at 4,300 feet here, folks. So you can see I've got a runway, and I can go flex, compute. So they're calling 122 to our V1 max of 140. This is where, this is where we would stop at 122 and 140. Ooh, don't like that. Okay, so let's try another theory. Let's try Toga. Much better. So we're looking at 106 for our minimum. So we have 6,200 feet of runway if we choose that for V1. Or if we choose, we'll say 133, our max, we still have 2,300 or 2,600 feet of runway. Folks, I'm going with Toga. This is why. Okay, so we got that all planned out. So we're going to do, so we'll do this. Let's do the uplink to takeoff data. Okay, let's change 10, 18. Let's change our winds. What we're doing is telling the onboard systems here what's going on. Now, if we were wet, we could use the up-down arrows to change it. We're not worried about that.
Kathmandu traffic, Turkish 1549 short final runway 02.
And if we had limitations, say they want us to take off at this point versus this point, we could put that in. And that, folks, helps. And you could have done it here, intersection blah, in feet. Okay, so we've got all of this in. Let's do our request. Received. And our numbers match. 133, 133, 137. Numbers the same here. 1 and up 04. Perfect. Insert. All right, now these numbers can be adjusted if you know how to. I don't. I rely on Blackbox 711. He has not set up anything to Kathmandu. Perfectly, I'm not worried about it. Transition level is correct though, 13,500. So there's our speeds, which match, and our cleanup speed is 206. Folks, that's it for the McDo. You could put a secondary back in here, or however. I choose on this not to. All right. So with that, folks, we are ready for the attack. Once again, into Paro. All right, we are ready to push back, so I'm going to get quiet, and we'll set up the front control unit and get ready to roll. First, going to close up the plane. You can watch the dots as we go. Okay, all we got left is the cabin doors. Okay, FCU. Okay, we know 118 or 1018. LS constraints, LS constraints. In case we have to come back. ARC is VOR is 20. ARC VOR 40. I'm sorry, distance 40 VORs. Okay. We're in managed for speed, so whatever the McDo onboard computers say, that's what it'll do. Same with the heading. Takeoff, we're going to 27,000. Okay, and we got the dot, meaning it'll be managed until otherwise we take over. Okay, altitude anti-skid switch. Right here, 3 green for the landing gear down, switch green. Our switching switches are 12 o'clock high, all pointing straight up. Working our way down. Throttle's good. And transponder on. And we're going to go ahead and close up that last door. All right, let's do it, folks. One more thing. Let's double check. Okay. Get the external power disconnected. And in a moment, we'll pull chocks.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit. Tower's driving up.
All right, folks, I am going to go silent now and hope you enjoy the flight. And see you on the ground at Paro.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect. Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback, and you may start engines. Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by. Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Thanks for flying with Mike. Kathmandu traffic, Royal, Bhutan, taxi to runway 2 for takeoff. And Kathmandu traffic, Royal Bhutan 20, back taxi, runway 2. All right, folks, we are cleared for takeoff out of Kathmandu, headed to Paro. real quick, folks, we're doing a system check. Let me break in, and that way you can see what we do here. Basically, we check each of our systems by each of our buttons down here: engine, bleed, and so forth. Use the all button. There's our engines. We're just making sure everything looks within parameters. Pressurization looks good. We've leveled off at 27,000. Electrical just shows you how it gets from the generators in the engines into the plane, the electricity. Also the DC off the batteries. Hydraulics look good. Nothing low or showing problems. Fuel. All right, now we're a little out of whack here, so let's come up here, turn the cross feed on. All that's done is now both wings are feeding both engines. So then we'll shut down the low side. There's our ding that we expect. And then you're gonna get this number to be as close as this one. Now it will backwash into the tank a little bit to help us in getting this up. More than 5 minutes, I've been told, could be a problem. With it being so close, I'm not going to go on and do the rest. Let's focus on what's out of whack, then continue on. But the big thing to keep in your mind, folks, at this point, just the left wing is fueling engine 1 and engine 2 because we've turned the pumps off. I'm sorry, the right wing, because we turned off the left. We're getting real close. And we're just balancing the tanks. Okay, we're going to be... Okay, engine wise. Everything looks good. Bring it back up. Oh, excuse me, folks. Turn off the cross feed. And now we're resuming left wing, left engine, which is number 1, right wing, right engine, which is number 2. Okay, and let's continue on. Clicking all. APU is off. All right, here's our cabin temperatures. Feel free to set them how you want. And we got to get our data in. Doors, 1800 in our tanks. Wheels, and everything looks good. All right, status good. All right, so we got to fill in our data. Let's go to the landing profile. No METAR found. The current conditions are as follows. Ooh. That doesn't make any sense. All right, what we're going to do then is go right off of what we have here. 8 hours old, 160 at 12. Temperature we're showing 14 and altimeter 30. Runway's dry, that's good, that's good. Brake mode. Okay, so you can see a 6,900-foot runway awaits us. Pewed it. Looks good. Put it in there, folks. 1016. If you wanted to do it by the inches of mercury, 30.00. 30.000. Okay, temperature we say is 14. Hopefully this is not. This is 1100 Zulu, what I quoted you. What? The heck did you do that, folks? Anyway, mag wind 160 at 12. Oh, thought I put it in there. Make sure you put the diagonal in. Okay, we didn't get a real good look at it. Our minimums will be 10, 3, 10. 10, 320. Okay, and then you can see what the margin is if we do it all right. VAP 130, LS landing speed of 125, clean 203, so everything looks good. Let's get set here to descend. $71 miles. Okay. Real quick again, folks, we really went over this more on the ground, so you can rewind the video, go back to it. We'll go over it real quick here. Okay. All right, so here we go, top to bottom. Paro Tower, RNAV approach, final approach course, yeah, 299, 326, and then down and in. Mandatory altitude, PR 816, right here, 13,800. Folks, that is where we got to be at that point. You're 6,400 feet above the ground. Not in this scenery, you're not. I'll just tell you that right now. RNIP has to be 0.03 or 0.3 down below. Airport elevation is 7,300 feet. Again, 9 miles to drop the required 6,000 feet. 1,500 feet minimum on our descent. 130 will be our speed. Okay. And I don't go by this, folks, because one, it doesn't tell you altitudes at all. But you add them up, it's 9 miles. I don't go by this either on this approach. I don't like to, but that's how it is. Missed approach, RNAV track back to PR 777 right here. And here's that track. Little zigzag, race kind of a teardrop back, and then we choose another approach. All right, so there you have it. There's our minimums, folks. 5,000 meters, 10,320 for this aircraft, and we're ready to go. We are now currently 53 miles out. Okay, I am going to try to keep that chart up there. If in the comments, if you would tell me if that is obtrusive, let me know. But that's how we're going to try to keep it so that you all can kind of see how this goes. All right, we'll get rid of charts for now. I'm going to be quiet, folks. I'll bring charts in as we start the approach. As we come off TAKTI, I hope to be no higher than 18,000 feet. TAKTI, sorry. Okay, folks, we have begun our descent. About 11 miles short, found out we were going to be coming in high. I want us at 16,000 feet. Okay, descent checks. Landing elevation auto, shows auto 7360. McDo arrival inputted. Perf arrival in, and we'll go ahead and throw the winds. Okay. Okay, we're in our descent and speed brake may be needed. Oh, there we go. Keep an eyeball on our speeds. Okay, altimeter transition here is 18,000 and that'll be to 30. Paro traffic, Royal Bhutan 20 descending off SUBSU for the RNAV 15 Zulu. Coming up to transition. Perfect, coming up on 16,000. A little short, but that's okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the first notch of flaps out. Okay, PR 777 is right ahead, folks. Let me bring the chart in right there. You all can watch us fly the approach. Okay, so you can see how we're going, folks. We're right now over 830, pressing to 828 again. No altitude restricted yet. Our next is 13.8 by 799, and then we begin slowing the VAP. 130. I'm going to go ahead and get the landing lights on. Get everything out of the way that needs to be gotten out of the way. Auto brakes will be needed. Okay, brake fans on. Just bringing her down safely. Some of the videos, the pilots were saying prayers at this point. All right, and you can now watch. You've got a good feel for what we have here approach-wise. We'll see you at Paro. Paro traffic, Royal Bhutan 20 over PR 730, 14,000 for 13,008. Last call will be on the RNAV 15 Zulu into Paro.
$2,500. $2,000.
All right, folks, Paro right past this ridge.
100 above. Minimum. Speed, 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 speed. 2,500. 2,000. 2,500. 2,000. 2,000.
Okay, folks, as you saw, that 9 miles at 1,500 feet a minute does not work.
Caution terrain. Caution terrain.
Speed, 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 speed.
Terrain, terrain.
Speed, speed.
Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain.
Caution terrain. Caution terrain.
1,000.
Terrain, terrain. Terrain,
Caution terrain. Caution terrain.
Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain.
100 above.
Terrain, terrain.
Minimum.
Terrain, terrain. 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 Terrain, terrain.
2,000.
Terrain, terrain. 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 Terrain, terrain.
1,000.
Terrain, terrain. 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 Terrain, terrain.
500.
Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain.
Bear with me a second, folks. I can't do multiple things at once. I don't have...
Terrain, terrain.
Speed, speed,
Terrain,
speed.
terrain.
400. Speed.
Terrain, terrain.
300.
Pull up. Terrain. Pull up. Terrain, terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain. Terrain, terrain.
100. Speed.
Terrain, terrain. Terrain,
50,
terrain.
40, 30, 20. Retard. 10. Retard. 5. Retard.
Oh my gosh, folks, we actually did pretty good that go around. Oh, there goes that ToLiss where it gets a little squirrely. I think it's when I hit the brakes. That actually did not look all that bad, folks. First time in this last go around, folks, I actually thought the airport was in the wrong place. We have run into that with X-Plane. I've run into that with multiple sims. So, just happy to say, welcome to Paro. Now, one or two of the videos that I watched real world pilots coming in here, they actually turned the GPWS off. Obviously, it would be yelling at you the whole time. All right. Well, folks, again, welcome into Paro. Kind of curious, the gentleman that helped me, or lady, who knows, what his VAP was, because I could not make the field at 130 and 1,500 feet from that point. So, a lot of practice, folks. That's why there's only a handful of pilots certified in here. So, just so you knew, bet you didn't know that. Duh, look at this approach. Again, that's nearly 6,000 feet dropped in 9 miles. All right, folks, welcome again into Paro. Last time we kept rolling, ended up on the roadway. We're very close to it, but at least not on it this time. They come in. This is what I like about ToLiss, folks. It's just so, the animation is so much better. If you're gonna animate something, I mean, they could have gone a little different here, but folks, I'm not gonna complain. It's so much better than most that comes in. We should be getting that front door opened here in a minute. And just watch, you'll see the feet come down to stabilize it. And then the other baggage will come in and do his thing. All right, folks, well, there you have it. Let me get rid of this in the upper corner. It's been a pleasure, folks. We had to do the go around. We were just, bear with me a second here. I'm going to bring that chart in, kind of make it a little, take up a lot more screen. Take it to right there. All right, what we had to do, folks, oop, didn't mean to get rid of it. Okay, when we came in the first time, I started hooking out a little bit further to try to get us to be able to fall down a little further than where we were at 15 to 1800 feet a minute. We were doing pretty good, don't get me wrong. Got a little fast, that's why I popped up spoilers. And then come around, you basically, it's better to, I guess, let me see if we can see it better from the tower. Okay, it's best to come down the valley here and kind of work your way in a way to, like we did on that go around. So you zigzag in for the landing. The only reason I paused it, folks, we were so close and I didn't have the ability in the cockpit to go from this view straight to here and straight back up fast enough to be able to roll us and roll us on. So that's why the quick pause to get us in. But other than that, folks, what a great run. Took 2 tries. You know, we're still trying to get this one down. Who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll try to runway 33. Maybe even off Tichy or whatever to come in. What Tichy will do is basically take you through here and then loop you down through the valley here and loop you in. So, but anyway, folks, much more of a stable approach than a few days ago. And I really hope you enjoyed. We didn't try to, I don't know why I can't fly out. I know why we disconnected the autopilot, but once we reconnect, it should get right onto it, but it doesn't. And I'm sure you real Airbus pilots will go, well, you got to do this, you got to do that, and then say a few prayers for it to actually do it. But anyway, folks, that was a very fun flight. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Real quick, some stats on it. Let's bring Sim Toolkit in. Hang on a second. It's not up on your screen. All right, we just lost the landing rate, but it's a little better, 488. And I got a little short on the landing. Had I flared a little more and let her float, she would have probably hit pretty decent. So we already know that, but let's take a look at it. Here's the route, including the missed approach, which is unconventional. But you can see my original routing and then my missed approach cutting off some of that. But usually you would go out, come here, turn around, and do it again. All right, details, hour flight, 217 for the miles, 2,300 kilos of fuel, 2.84. We woke them up in the back. That's the key. They want to see the Himalayas. We got to wake them up. 480 feet per minute at 132 knots. Fast on the landing. That's what I was hoping to do at 1,500 feet all the way down. Okay, again, much improved. We did land in the landing zone, albeit short in the landing zone, only 350 feet or 354 feet down the runway. The goal is right here. So last time we landed just about right where my hand thing is. So much improved where we touched down. 2 attempts, 4, because we had to do a go around a few days ago. Number wise though, 149, 151 for your headings, not bad. 132, again, should have been 125. That might have improved this. So there, you see how this Sim Toolkit helps you with your approaches. It's free, by the way, folks. And oh, by the way, we're parked. We can't get down. I believe this is where we are. Okay, so there you have it, folks. A really, I think, a great day of flying. I hope you enjoyed this, folks. Like I said, we did this a few days ago. Actually, a better G, rate on the passengers at a higher foot per minute landing. So, excuse me, and at a much more unstable approach. So, which in many circles, folks, means go around. So, again, thanks for being a part of Flying with Mike. It is always a pleasure, and I hope you all truly have a great day, great weekend. And, if you really want to catch us, we do a live stream on Twitch. Look for Flying with Mike over there. We'd love to have you over there, have you be a part of Flying with Mike. We fly things like the 747, the ToLiss equipment, A319, 320 Neos, the Zebo. What a plane, folks. If you haven't got it, highly recommend it, folks. It'll break your piggy bank, but it is worth every dime. It is free, and it is, in my opinion, better than PMDG if you're from that other sim. So check them out. We fly the 747, ToLiss A3 Airbuses, Zebo. You'll find us in the Caravan, the Beach, the Citation. We fly a variety of aircraft here, as well as the Airbus 11 Freighter. Oh wait, it's actually called the MD-11. But once you get your mind around that aircraft and see it for it being more Airbus than Boeing, because Boeing didn't build it, you'll be really you'll find it becomes a lot easier. But anyway, that's to come. So you all have a great weekend, and check us out again at Flying with Mike. God bless you all. We'll see you hopefully over at Flying with Mike or here on video. Unfortunately, we don't fly live here, but hey, we love having you here. Click the subscribe, and hey, thumbs up it, folks, if you like this stream. Y'all have a great day. God bless.
Terrain.
100 minimum